Warm welcome to councillors, senior staff. Warm welcome to Temora Shire Council's extraordinary meeting, and I do thank you very much for being here. This meeting is being recorded and will be placed on Temora Shire Council's webpage for public information. The Mayor and councillors are reminded of our oath and affirmation of office made under Section 23A of the Local Government Act 1993 and their obligations under Council's Code of Conduct to disclose and appropriately manage conflicts of interest. All present today, that we're reminded whilst we're speaking that we're agreeing that our views and comments are being recorded and published. And we're also reminded that if or when that we are speaking, that we're of course to be respectful to others and use the appropriate language. Temora Shire Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures during this council meeting. Our acknowledgement of country. As we begin our meeting today, Temora Shire Council acknowledges our traditional owners of Temora Shire's land and waters, the Wiradjuri people. We acknowledge their continued connection to country and culture, and we pay our heartfelt respects to elders both past and present, acknowledging their contribution to the Temora Shire community, a place we all call home. And our opening prayer today is the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you very much, councillors. So, of course, we have the one item in open council today, and that is the draft financial statements to 30 June this year. And then, of course, we have a confidential item which we will consider later. So they're the only two items that council will be considering. We have any declarations of any interest at this time, please? No. An apology from Councillor Mann is unable to be here. Is someone prepared to move that we accept that apology? Thank you, Councillor Dukic and Councillor Bushell. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Clear the motion carried. Welcome, Councillor Irvine. Now, we don't have any declaration of any interest at this time, so let us proceed to our business paper, which is on page 6, 7.1, the Department of Administration and Finance, the draft financial statements. I beg your pardon. Motion, please, to receive staff reports. We're out of whack. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair. Thank you, Councillor Judd. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Now we go to the Director of Administration and Finance, the Director.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So the report's as written, and it provides a highlight of Council's result and position for the year. Just to add further to the report, point councillors in the direction of page 86 of the business paper, which is note H11, which is our statement of performance measures. And you'll note that council met all of the benchmarks except for the one being own source revenue. Own source revenue is very challenging for small rural councils like Temora to meet because it's set at 60% of our revenue, and because we have such a high reliance on grants, it's almost impossible for us to meet that benchmark. But we met all of the others, which is pleasing. Also, I'll add, since the report was written, we received our audit closing report, and indications are that we will be receiving an unqualified audit opinion this year. There's a new Auditor General in the role this year, and he has taken a very different approach. Our auditors have done some testing in relation to the existence of Red Fleet assets, and they've come to the conclusion that the value is immaterial, and so we will not be getting a qualified audit opinion this year, which is good news.
That's excellent.
Happy to
news.
take any questions.
Thank you, Madam Director. That is excellent news, and it's, I think, hats off to those brave councils across New South Wales that stuck to their guns and did not declare those as assets and were not bullied and spooked into doing so. So well done, Temora Shire Council too, may I say. Thank you, Madam Director. Councillors, you have the document there, and I think you'd agree it certainly reads a lot better than perhaps what we may have thought it would. No, we won't be fooled, Madam Director, but at the end of the day, we know that financial sustainability is the number one issue facing all of rural regional councils in New South Wales, and I think we're doing okay, all things considered. Councillors, you have the report there for you to consider. Is there anything that Council wish to tease out? Any questions, any comments? The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Just to the Director on depreciation, just up again. Do you know where Council up to as far as reassessing all the assets of Council? Like, how many more years is it going to increase? Large increases? Do you know? Or is that?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. The Director.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, pretty much that will continue to increase because we're required to do revaluation. So all of our assets have to be revalued at least every 5 years. So we've got a bit of a cycle. And on the in-between years, you need to index it in accordance with, construction indexes or CPI or whatever is appropriate. So while ever we're on that requirement to revalue our assets, our depreciation will keep going up.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, just on that, there was a period of a big catch-up the last few years, wasn't it? Because things were undervalued, but is that sort of caught up? It'll always increase, I know, but there's sort of a lot of things were undervalued at one stage. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. The Director.
I think, did the Manager of Engineering want to speak there?
So the Manager.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. So I think most of it's caught up. The only thing that I'm aware of where there's probably a fair bit to change is just the stormwater assets. I feel like there's some gaps in our data, and I think there'll be a bunch of assets brought on that we currently don't carry on our books, which will make a bump. But I think outside of that, it's starting to get a bit steadier.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? I think our new councils would realise just how dependent the rural councils are on grants, of course. It's quite frankly, it's our lifeline. I note the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, alluded earlier that our sister city Randwick were, I think, what they were receiving over $140 million in rates, which is just things that dreams are made of, and $7 million in interest. It's good to dream. Councillors, you have the report there, and I go to Councillor Irvine.
On page 24, where we're looking at the second part of the user fees and charges, that's an income item which seems to be up significantly on last year. There seems to be a figure of about 2.4 million increase in the work for transport, and there's a significant increase in the entry of frail and aged. Could I just have a little bit more information on both of those, please?
Thanks, Councillor Irvine. The Director.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So I think those two main items of increase were articulated in the report. So the Transport for New South Wales, the major increase there is in relation to the pavement upgrade of Hoskin Street that occurred through the year. And frail and aged, that's the growth of NDIS and home care packages and other works that we're doing in that space.
Thank you, Madam Director. Thank you, Councillor Irvine. Any other comments, questions at this point? If not, you have a report there for you to consider and a suite of recommendations on the bottom of page 7, or is it an alternate? Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to move the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bushell has moved the recommendation that 1, Council note the draft financial statements have been referred to audits. 2, the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, General Manager and Responsible Accounting Officer be authorised to sign the statement by councils and management for the 2023-24 general purpose and special purpose financial statements in accordance with section 413 2C of the Local Government Act 1993 as amended. And finally, that council delegate authority of the General Manager to authorise the accounts for issue upon receipt of the audit report. Is there a second affirmation, please? Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, thank you. Moved, seconded, discussion. Further discussion, Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. It's referenced in here regarding the deferred payments policy. Is there any updates on those at all, especially with the Dustin Rose estate?
Thank you, Councillor Bushell. I do think, I mean, there could be, it'd be permissible for a general figure, but you might need to take that on notice. But the Director of Administration and Finance.
So with the Dustin Rose deferred developers advancement, approximately half of those blocks have sold, and so that balance has come back. And then with Highfields, that's not fully drawn down yet. Construction's not complete.
Thank you. Further discussion? If not, I will put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Madam Director, again, thank you to you and Madam General Manager, to you and all the directors and managers and every staff member. We thank you for working with council to live within our means as best we can, and I think we do very, very well, all things considered. So thank you very, very much. Councillors, in accordance with section 10A of the Local Government Act 1993, advise that there is a matter for council to consider at this extraordinary council meeting, and accordingly I require a motion, please, for us to proceed into closed session to have the matter considered. Thank you, the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, Councillor Judd. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. I declare the motion carried. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back into open council of this extraordinary meeting of Temora Shire. And I advise, or actually I'll invite the General Manager to advise of the resolution that has been brought forward from closed session into open. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. In closed session, it was resolved that Council 1 invites the businesses that submitted an expression of interest to participate in a selective tender process for the lease of the pathology space at the Temora Medical Complex, specifying that the term of the lease arrangement is to be 3 years plus 2 3-year options. 2, that the outcome of the tender process be reported to the 12th of November 2024 Asset and Operations meeting, with the outcome to be ratified at the 28th of November 2024 Council meeting. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thanks, Madam General Manager. So, Council, you've heard the motion. Would someone please formally move that we adopt that resolution that's been brought forward from closed into open? Councillor Judd, thank you. Second for the motion, Councillor Hawken. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you very much. That being the only listed business for this extraordinary meeting, I thank you very, very much for your attendance, and I declare this extraordinary meeting closed.